All right, guys, we are here. Jimmy Randazzo, season 2, episode 2, with Cam, Lukash, CK, and Chris. We are here, Yankees Pod. This is the team that we formed for the 2024 season. What up, guys? Lukash is producing the Jimmy Randazzo show every week, so shout out to Lukash as well. But we had to bring in we had a little issue. We had a guest and the internet was bad, so we threw this together. But I'm happy. I'm happier than ever to talk to all you guys. And I talk to you guys basically almost every single day on Yankees Pod, Monday through Friday at noon. So let's talk some Yankees baseball. Let's swing it around. Cam, how you doing?
Jimmy, I'm doing fantastic. I'm just ready to get the baseball season underway. We got 6 days until spring training games officially start, and I can't wait. With the Yankees keep posting social media stuff every day with guys showing up. Everybody's excited, everybody's throwing, and I can't wait.
Sweet. Lukash, go ahead.
I think we're all sick and tired of talking about the same things over and over and over again. This is an ongoing cycle during every off season. Everyone's antsy. Now we're really antsy because now it's like a tease. We're seeing them play, but they're not playing, So soon enough,
Yeah.
we'll be here.
And I think we officially made you CK, Chris Caleb, because CK rolls off the tongue better than CN. So, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. Good to finally see some of you guys. Been texting for a long time, and good to see you guys in the flesh. Wow, okay. And yeah, man. 2023 on the path. 2024, we got Juan Soto. How about that? And
Yes, sir.
yeah,
All right,
man, it's gonna be better.
Finally, we got Chris Nieves. Chris, what's going on, brother? How are you? I talk to you every single second of the day on Yankees Pod. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Excited, man. We're like he said, 6 days away from spring training. Hopefully we get through this healthy. I know there's some things we're gonna talk about with some lingering issues, but rather early than late. But excited for the season.
Yeah, let's just start there. I mean, you basically nailed it. Let's start with the injuries. And we're gonna call this "Let's Be Transparent." This segment, "Let's Be Transparent." Scott Efros comes out yesterday. News that he needed a back surgery in December. But let's be transparent, Brian Cashman. Why did we not know about this until yesterday afternoon when we had guys like Josh Hader out there? It's a little bit frustrating. Chris Nieves, we'll throw it to you first to talk about this injury issue. I'm sure we want to start with the Scott Efros and just the real transparency between the teams.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that they're not transparent. To get this news in December when we signed Soto is a different feeling. I think getting the news now so late, like we just said, 6 days before spring training, after pitchers and catchers report, it's like it's a stab in the back. It's not what they should be doing. If you're gonna have these type of injuries and maybe make some calls and make some moves, you want to let the fans know. You want to say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. And we don't need the rundown on everything, because there's going to be soreness, there's going to be other things, but something that serious, a 60-day IL stint, we need to know more ahead of time, because again, getting the news so close, it's a reminder of last year before, and other years in the past where we're just getting hit by the injury bug. So again, being transparent earlier in the process, I think Yankee fans feel better about it.
Yeah, and again, if they had told us in December, right after they got Juan Soto, that Scott Efros had back surgery, I think we're all just not even blinking. It's just confusing when we get the news, and then we get the news that we got a new player who's 5'6". Also, and we don't height shame on here, but Jimmy Randazzo is 5'6" and a lefty, and so is the guy we just acquired. Doesn't really instill confidence, but also at the same time, we got Juan Soto. We picked up Stroman, who we're going to get to next. this is hard to navigate with all five of you guys in here. Let's throw it over to Lukash to talk a little bit about, the rest of the people that were injured and just the updates that we had.
Listen, it's like, is Scott Efros even on our team? We had him for half a year, gets injured, never to be seen again. And it just adds, now he's just has a magical back surgery we just don't know about. Like, okay, sure. Then also Nestor Cortez, the Mr. Nasty Nestor. He's cool. He's cool. He has his whole fan base around him. I mean, I personally like Cortez, but I mean, it's 1 year of solid baseball, and then he's been injured. And now he was basically non-existent last year. And when he was playing last year, it wasn't the prettiest. So now we're hearing that he might not even start the season off like on our active roster. Some questions. Obviously, you could add another problem to our starting rotation now that we potentially don't have Nestor Cortez. So
yeah, it's almost Luke Weaver season. And we also have Jose Trevino might not be ready for the beginning of spring training. He messed something up, so it's Austin Wells season early. And it's just, again, lack of transparency, I think, between the organization and Yankees fans. At the same time, we would have been crying about not getting Josh Hader if they announced. So I understand what they're doing. Cam, any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, just kind of a few things. I think Cashman is a big guy that's kind of a wait and see and assess. So I think we all know that Dominguez will be back kind of during the summertime. Scott Efros will be there during kind of the middle of the summertime. You can get Nestor in. Yeah, kind of the beginning of the season does matter, but it doesn't matter come, August, September, and even into October. So kind of missing some of these guys now isn't going to play as key of a role because we're going to get them in the latter half of the season. I understand that we do need these pieces, but it's good that we do know this information now. So we have spring training, and so we can find these people that are just a plug and play option while these guys are healing up and getting better. Because these first 30 games don't mean as much as the last 60 or last 30. The first 60 don't matter as much as the last 60, if that makes sense.
It's a little infuriating that Luke Weaver is basically our fifth starter heading into the season. Chris K, or CK, I should say. Any thoughts, final thoughts? And you know what? Let's give a round of applause, a little golf clap to Chris Kalick, who's been doing the rundown. He's been doing his videos over at Yankees Pod. Shout out to you for basically you've been running the Twitter account pretty flawlessly recently. So shout out to you, and you're continuing over there. Thoughts on the injuries? Any which way you want to take it before we get into the next topic?
Yeah, I'll start with the Scott Efros thing too. I mean, what Lucas thing was saying, like, where was his communication with Cashman? He thought they learned better after the Anthony Rizzo situation, like how messed was that was, and not lesson learned. Come on, it's deja vu all over again.
Yep.
Fair enough. Let's get to another topic. Marcus Stroman. Now listen. I could have started the podcast and we could have threw a celebration for Juan Soto but that's old news. That was last week's news. I covered that with Gary Sheffield Jr. Marcus Stroman is here. He's wearing the 1996 World Series hat. He's saying all the right things. He's got that pearly smile. He looks great in a Yankees uniform. But we do have to remember, this is a guy who blocked me and probably a few of you guys on Twitter. Maybe not.
I'm lucky so far.
So yeah, you guys are maybe all fine, but this is a guy who he's saying the right things right now. Absolutely saying the right things right now. But I'm a little worried when, May comes and he has a bad outing and how he's gonna react to this team. Maybe he's done a complete 180, but we also have to remember that this guy was a little bit of a mental midget when it came to New York and their fans just so recently as a year and a half ago. So I'm going to be the half glass empty kind of guy here because I'm just being honest about it. It just seems like today and the past few days, people have been taking a turn on Stroman, and he's been forgiven for everything, which I'm totally cool with. I only want the best for him, but it just seems a little too good to be true. Lukash, go ahead.
I was saving this for now. I didn't want to speak about it when we were talking about him on the pod because I don't know whose side I'm going to be on here, but I'm not sold on Marcus Stroman. He's going to need to do a lot more with what he's said and what he's done towards Yankee fans. And it could just be for the name of the game because he was a Toronto Blue Jay, right? But
Right.
I mean, he's a little bit of a diva, right? So he's a bit different than Josh Donaldson for the sake that Josh Donaldson, at least he wasn't hostile towards any Yankee fans. And it's on social media too. You're having this big loudmouth persona on social media throughout your baseball season, throughout your job. And if, now all of a sudden he signed and he's a complete 180, I think he's going to need to do a lot more to win over some Yankee fans before the season even starts. Because if he's going to want to win over baseball fan or Yankee fans, it's the easy way is, put up a 3 or 2 ERA and play 32 games for us as a starter. But so far, he hasn't really done much, so I can't really comment on it. But for now, my stance is he's going to need to do more. And I think that's fair. I think that's solid.
Chris, go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were in New York. We were in a town where like actions speak more than words. So until he gets the wins, I'm gonna accept him. But he's saying the right thing, so we can accept it for right now. And to piggyback off that, like he's always been like the number 1 or 2 guy in most of his organizations. And here he's probably gonna be like the 3 or 4th guy. So hopefully like not that much pressure, and we're gonna do like rely on more like Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole, of course, and hopefully, God willing, Clark Schmidt takes the next step, so we don't have to like on the board see like probably like a 4th or 3rd starter. So
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's the second best guy on the team. Hopefully he wakes up. The contract is a good contract. Chris Nieves, go ahead, man. Sorry, I meant to say you're CK for now on, Chris Caleb. I'm sorry. It's just it rolls up the tongue better. So Chris and CK and Cam and Lukash, and again, this isn't the easiest thing to do. Get 5 people on a thing to talk about the same subject over and over and over, but we're gonna make it work. So Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, 5 people with 2 of the same name. It's kind of tough. But yeah, so I'll play the other side of it. I'm not so sold as far as, like there's other networks, other fans who are just like glooming over everything he says. I'm not that far. But listen, I still like Chase Headley. I mean, I'm giving the guy the early shot off of the little bit of things that he has said. Now let's be honest here. I'm not gonna text my family and friends because till Thanksgiving because I'm focused on the season is an oversight. That's an oversight. Yeah, like come on, let's be serious now. Like don't go too hard. Like be genuine. You don't have to be so apologetic and so begging for the fan base. And I think Jimmy makes a good point. You can't be so emotional. Like if he has that short temper here, excuse me, it's not going to work because it's inevitable that he's going to allow 6 runs in a game, and that boo is going to be really loud. And if he doesn't have that short attention span where he's not paying that much attention to it, he's going to go downhill quick, and we are going to crush him. A la Josh Donaldson, same kind of situation. So, yeah, I'm going to be, a little more optimistic right now because it's who I am. But again, he has a short leash with me. 1 or 2 bad starts early and a little bit of a kicking of the mound, and I'm going to be a little upset. So, but I will give him a shot and we'll see where it goes.
Does anybody else have anything to say on that? Does anybody have a real strong?
I
mean,
personally think he's consistent. Stroman's consistent, but last year he was an all-star. But you'll look at his post all-star stats, and it's like you put me out there type of thing. It wasn't pretty. So I think sorry, Cam, but I think what
no, you finish what you gotta say.
I think what Chris K said about how
You
he'll
mean
be at
CK?
like CK. I think I agree what CK says about the he'll be more towards the bottom mid part of a rotation instead of an ace like he was in Chicago. Takes a lot of pressure off, but then you're in the Bronx now. It balances out. Maybe, we'll have to see. That's just what
Yeah,
I
we'll have to see. And listen, this isn't a doom and gloom episode. I don't really want to go there. So we're just going to go we're just going to split it up before I start to talk about Giancarlo Stanton. Fill in the blank, and I'm going to go to Cam first. Fill in the blank. Garrett Cole will win blank games in 2024.
So Garrett Cole will win 19 games in 2024. I have I have a whole future picks lined up for this baseball season for players. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull it up.
All right. Well, all right. 19. Lucas, go ahead. What's the prediction? Really
So
quick.
last year, 15 wins, and he was a Cy Young. This year, he's a bit older. Hopefully, we have a more stronger bullpen where he won't need to go deep games. I'm gonna say maybe around the same 15, 16 games. We'll go with 16 because we let
All
him
right.
improve.
TK, go ahead. How many
We go-
wins?
We hopefully have a better offense, hopefully more wins. I'm gonna go beat the positive guy here. I think he's going 18 to 19 wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 20 wins. Chris, go ahead, Chris.
I'm locked in on 18. I think with the backup of Rodon and kind of what everybody else said, he doesn't have to be perfect this year. He'll have good games. Excuse me. Certain ones won't be wins. So yeah, I'm gonna go locked in on 18.
All right. Let's talk about the new uniforms for a second. Someone pretend like I have no idea what's going on with the new uniform. Someone raise their hand and basically explain what's going on. Cam, go ahead.
So Nike has established a monopoly on the sports uniforms in all of the major sports franchises, the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB. And essentially they're trying to update these new uniforms with this new uniform technology. And all of these uniforms kind of MLB wide, even NBA wide, they're starting to look less quality made. You can even look at pictures from jerseys from last year to this year, like names and numbers are way smaller, graphics look bad. But if you kind of just if you want to just point to the Yankees specifically, they actually updated their road jerseys. They pretty much just took out all the borders of the names and numbers, that white border. And now it's just kind of back to the old school, the 30s, 40s looks of where it just says New York, and there's no background in it, and it does look basic, but it's classic. If you're a true historian of the Yankees, it's a classic
Good
feel.
point. Good
All
point.
right.
I think the Yankee fans dodged a bullet with how bad these jerseys really are, because we don't have the last names on the back, so you don't need to see the rainbow looking last names. Also, you're right, the classic look. I'm actually a fan of how our away jerseys look, but let's not have that be my picture for how I really think about all these jerseys, because there's some really, 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 really bad looking jerseys that we've seen so far. 2 days into these training camps. It's sad. It's sad for baseball.
Yeah, I haven't got to look at the Isaiah kind of Falefa jersey yet. I heard it's hilarious.
Sevy's on the Mets is pretty brutal.
Severinos. Verlander, Justin Verlander's is bad. It's sad. It's really sad.
Chris, what do you think?
Not good. Not good. Just imagine Jared Salatabakia still playing. Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on this earlier, and I'll make the point of I think the recycled jerseys, I guess the quality they're using is recycled, for world purposes. But I think Nike's taking a step back on a lot of things. I think losing out on some big stars. They don't have Ohtani. This is 15 years ago. There's no way like Ohtani's not on Nike. So losing out on a Curry and losing Tiger recently. Yeah, I just think the quality's bad. I do agree with Cam that like I like the old school look. I just don't like it every day. If it's 40 games in the season, great. It looks good. But we did dodge a bullet with the names, and I will say, maybe this is a test run. Maybe in the next couple, 2 to 3 years, they hear us and they revisit, the look of it. But yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, and I think it's like recyclable, right? Somebody was telling me
Yeah.
about the
It's
Like
it's
90% of it is like we're made of recycled materials.
yeah, it's like I hear 90, I hear 80, I hear 75. Point is, it's 100% trash.
Yeah.
And it needs to be changed. And I mentioned this on the pod earlier. The our we could tweet about it. We can make podcasts about it. I feel like in the end it'll come down to the players, because the players, they're superstitious creatures. And
Yep.
one slight, it could be the moon is at a wrong angle, and that could make a pitcher throw 8 earned runs in 2 innings. It could just be the slightest thing like that. That players, baseball players, any sports player will blame it on something the slightest bit. So if their jersey feels weird, that it could be the slightest thing like that.
And if you remember, like a few years ago, the NBA, they built in those sleeves. Remember that shit?
Yep.
And LeBron, it was literally LeBron that got it removed because he would just rip them off, and he's like, I literally can't play in these. And whenever he would rip them off, he would score like an extra like 10, 15 points because his arms weren't restricted when he could shoot.
I have a
Hockey's
question
the
though.
only one that did it right.
I have a question though. Is the jersey gonna be like cheaper for us fans to be buying, since now they're using like lesser, or it can be more expensive?
It's like
Probably
$40
not.
Way more expensive. They're
Oh,
they're like
God.
$300.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's like
damn.
40, $50 more or something like that.
What
Yeah,
the
they're way
heck?
more
Come
expensive.
on.
I was
Come
looking.
on.
Yeah, I don't
Even-
even like wearing jerseys anymore, but it is what it is. Again, we're not trying to be doom and gloom, but these are the topics that we had today, and it is what it is. And listen, we're 6 days away from spring training games, and we're going to be do baseball companions where we're all watching the game at the same time, and we're going to be doing some fun stuff. Listen, it's Friday night. My internet wasn't working. These guys came in the bullpen like Clay Holmes and Johnny Lasagna and, this guy, Caleb Ferguson, and that guy. I mean, you guys are basically doing overtime this week because it's our 6th show this week. But we're doing it because we love the game. We want to grow the YouTube channel, and this is what we got to do. And we love the New York Yankees. And we're not going to sit here and we're not going to ask cookie cutter questions or not say what we believe because we want to have this or that person on. We're going to say how we feel every single time. And listen, I come on here and I'm freaking out sometimes, but other times I will give credit when credit's due. Like Garrett Cole is the greatest pitcher since sliced bread. Simple as that. What another good thing. Juan Soto, he rakes. So it's not all bad doom and gloom. And I want to bring the energy up a little bit because listen, these guys have been working all week. And listen, first of all, shout out to all the fans that are watching this right now. We appreciate all you guys. And shout out to the real ones on there. I mean, we got Ghost on there. We got Bojo. Shout out to Bojo. Bojo. All the people over there. Animal. We have so many guys over there that are diehards that want to be on the thing.
Future.
I mean, the list goes on and on. So we appreciate everybody out there. And let's talk about okay, I'm just gonna do a little shout out. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but shout out to my dear friend Commissioner Manfred. He's stepping down in 2029. But I did want to give him a little round of applause. I know
it's a bad round of applause. Round of applause. He's leaving, by the way.
Well, you guys can say whatever you want about him. I'm a ride or die kind of guy. I know what he said about the trophy wasn't the best thing, but other than that, love his idea with the free agency period. I don't know if Tony Clark's going to go for it because the MLBPA is the best union since like Jimmy Hoffa was around. So the union is pretty damn strong. But I love the idea of a free agency period. CK, thoughts on the free agency period, or anything, any which way you want to take about Rob Manfred?
He implemented the pitch clock, which is something unique and he deserves credit for it, which actually worked. And I do like that because he's speaking of the game baseball, and like the younger generation thinks baseball is like long and boring, and he's changing that. So he found a solution to a problem, and I applaud him for that.
Love that. Love that insight. Chris, go ahead.
Good point. I think the changing of the clock, we've seen it. The game time went down, attendance went up. Families are able to go. They're taking their kids now because the game isn't going to 11. It's stopping around 9:30, 10. Um, uh, I wasn't the biggest fan, but I will say I think some of the chat, I was a little harsh on him on certain things, and especially with the
The
trophy
Astros,
comment.
yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. We're baseball like fanatics. If you're a baseball fan, you're real like tied in. It's tough. We watch 4-hour games, 1-0, and it's like 12, 18 pitchers. So like we're really into baseball if you're a fan. So that was a bad comment. But overall, I don't want to knock him too bad. I don't think he's as bad as like a Goodell. I think Goodell's horrible, but that's another subject. Yeah, I wish him well, and I hope whoever does take over continues to grow the game, makes it more entertaining. Um, and I am a fan of the free agent period. I think a deadline would bring some excitement to baseball. It'll help. There'd be actually let's just say a 2-week span of people really paying attention. I mean, hockey, last year, last day you're getting big signings. Same thing with basketball and football. You have a free agent period, and it just that time brings an excitement. So the fact that it's so spread out, where there's major guys, Cody Bellinger, Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, who don't have jobs right now, and it's insane. There should be a period for that.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that the union is again so strong. Tony Clark is like a pit bull over there fighting for those players like they're his children. So it's really tough to get by. We had to touch on Manfred because that was the news of yesterday. And then all right, this is what we're gonna do because we're gonna do the roster, the line of construction, how we want to do it. But this is how I'm gonna start it. Put a number of hands up: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 9. Where should Giancarlo stay in 3 seconds? 3. Where should Giancarlo Stanton be in the lineup? Because this is 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we have a 6s and 7s. So we're basically all on the right path. Why don't we start with Cam? Cam, give your lineup, your 1 through 9, what you want to see the New York Yankees on opening day, because I'm sure we'll have all different opinions. And let's just make it so that Wells, what? Do whatever you want. You're the manager on opening day. Where's your 1 through 9?
Yeah, real quick before I say this, I just wanted to touch on the Manfred thing. I just had a little thing. Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And you can literally see that in every single commissioner throughout any sport in history, where you look at Goodell, you look at Manfred now, but you look at Adam Silver, he's very liked in the NBA, but he's young in his time. You look at David Stearns before that, he was loved until he was a pedophile. So all these things are just cycling through.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
And the Chris Paul situation.
Yeah, and the Chris Paul situation, so at any point, like a commissioner in any sport is going to end up being the bad guy. I wish him the best of luck. He didn't handle the Astros situation very well either, but that's beside the point. Anyway, opening day lineup. I have it projected for a right-hander if Verlander starts. I also have for a left-hander if Framber starts for him.
Yeah, screw the Houston Astros. And you know what? The first person to say the word, to tweet at me the word believe right here is winning a t-shirt, a Screw Houston t-shirt. All right? Boom.
Boom.
Little Easter egg for the people out there that are watching every single day. Cam, go ahead.
Yeah, so my lineup versus righty, so most likely it'd be Verlander. I have Verdugo leading off, and then Soto 2, Judge 3. The reason why I have Judge batting third in this case is obviously to get the left-handed bats up versus the righty. Plus, on Sean Casey's podcast earlier this week, Judge had told him that he wants to bat third. Like he's told Boone multiple times that he wants to bat behind Soto no matter what. So I do have it that way. In my left-handed, it's a little different, but we can get to that here shortly. Then I have Glaber, Rizzo, DJ, Anthony Volpe, Giancarlo Stanton, Austin Wells.
You have Giancarlo 8.
It versus a righty, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Lukash, go ahead. I mean, listen, we'll dissect all of this. Lukash, go ahead.
So, this could be contributed towards kind of like a lefty versus righty matchup, righty versus lefty, lefty versus righty, that kind of thing.
Let's just pretend the righty's on the mound, just because.
I was thinking that.
Well, it's irrelevant anyways. I'm gonna have DJ leading off. I'll have DJ leading off. He's gonna be playing our third base for game one of the season. Of course, this is gonna be a lock for everybody here. It's gonna be Soto, Judge, and here's the thing: Soto will be playing left field, and Judge will be playing right field. It's cute that Judge can play center. It's really cute. It's honestly, I love it. It's funny, but listen, that dude's a big guy. I think he's like 300 pounds. And if we want him to play 162 games on paper, the brother's not playing center field. He's not. He's just not.
I'm sorry. I don't even mean to cut you off, but do you think Juan Soto on his free agent, like next year, he's going to be a free agent. It's going to be playing left field. There's no way they're going to do that.
I love it, Luke Castro. I love it.
Yeah, he's going to be right. Okay, keep on going. Going.
He'll be our. Listen, that's the difference, though. Am I a trash manager like Aaron Boone? No, I'm not. I make the decisions that need to be made. And Soto, if we need him in right field so he could boost up his contract, that's not good for us. So he's going to be in left field. Glaber Torres will be our cleanup guy because this is a little contradictory to what I just said. Have him clean up so he can rake so he can get his bag. He'll be playing second base for us. Then this might have been different than what I said for Stanton. He's going to be batting fifth for us. Our DH, Giancarlo Stanton. Then underneath Stanton, we'll have first baseman Anthony Rizzo. I like having Rizzo down there. Because he could hit, and he can get on base. That's pretty much it. For DJ LeMahieu or Alex Verdugo. Apologies for Alex Verdugo, who will be our center fielder. Then we'll end up our. No, you can. It's.
I'm letting you talk. I don't know what you want from me. This is my reaction.
Eyes are on you. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
We'll have Volpe shortstop, and then I think this is good for Trevino on the IL because this gives Austin Wells his time to shine. It's gonna be batting ninth, but I like it. He's a lefty, and I mean I think we all like lefties here.
CK, go ahead. Well, there's a lot to dissect here. Cam, Lukash, go ahead, CK.
Okay, I had DJ LeMahieu batting leadoff. I had obviously Juan Soto batting number 2. Judge wants to bat third. I'm gonna let him bat third. I have Anthony Rizzo batting cleanup. I'm hoping for a healthy season from him. Number 5, I got Glaber. And number 6, I got Stanton. 7, I got Verdugo. 8, I got Wells or Trevino, whoever's gonna be the catcher. But obviously, opening day is gonna be Wells. And number 9, we need that speed at the end of the lineup. Anthony Volpe bang ninth. But he might, if he has a good season, he might move up.
Like that.
We need that speed at the end of the lineup, though.
Very reasonable. Chris, go ahead.
I like that ending. To bat leadoff, I got third baseman DJ LeMahieu. Second, I have right field, Soto. I have center field at third, Judge. I have second baseman cleanup hitter Glaber Torres. Batting 6, our DH will be Giancarlo Stanton. I have Verdugo in left field batting 7th. And I have Anthony Volpe at shortstop batting 8th with what even I believe, and this is my hot take, even if Trevino's maybe a little bit ready to go, I think they still start Wells at catcher at 9.
Good.
Fair enough. Okay, so few thoughts here. You know what? I'll just give my lineup. This is the most important thing. And I really don't hate any lineup. I really don't.
I just sat up because I'm waiting for this one.
I just want a consistent lineup.
Yep.
This is something I talked to last year when we were on the Jimmy Randazzo show, first couple episodes. I want consistency. I don't care if it's a lefty or a righty every single day. I want a consistent lineup for at least the first 50 games of the season. You know, if you have to switch 8 and 9 because Wells and Trevino and lefty righties, sure, fine. But the first 5 guys in the order need to be the same every single time. And now the fact that I like Cam's the way that Cam set it up, having Verdugo as the number 1 hitter, but it's not realistic now because Judge came out and he was at an award ceremony and he was like, "Oh, I really like Judge, Soto, and myself 1, 2, 3." So that's probably how it's going to be. Judge publicly said it. I personally would like Verdugo in the 1 spot, but that's fine. So DJ, Soto, Judge, Gleyber at the 4 spot, Rizzo 5, Giancarlo 6, Verdugo 7 because of the lefty righty, and because I am just thinking realistic here. Is he going to bat Giancarlo 7? Probably not. But I mean, Verdugo could be 6, but I understand if you want to go lefty righty. I doubt even. Let me finish it. So then, after Verdugo, then I personally think I would go Volpe if Verdugo is a lefty, then you go righty-lefty. And also, I think Anthony Volpe's a much better hitter than Austin Wells today because he hit 20-plus home runs. And if your 6 and 8 hitters are guys that are going to be projected over 20 home runs, perfectly fine with it. I want Giancarlo Stanton to be the best 6 hitter, the best 7 hitter in the Major League Baseball, as opposed to slide in the 4 hole against guys like, Paul Goldschmidt and, guys that can blast home runs. I want him to be compared to these other guys because he batted under the Mendoza line last year. He batted 211 the year beforehand. So it's a little complicated right now with the lineup, but more importantly, you could tell me any guys 1 through 5, as long as it's consistent. That's really what I want to see this year. I want to see consistency. We knew Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, then Bernie Williams. That was your 1 through 4, no matter what. And Jorge was batting 6. And you knew that going, obviously I'm not in the major leagues and I didn't play college ball, but I knew every single day that I was playing left field and batting 6th. And that when I would go out, and it was just something that you get, you knew I'm probably going to bat 2nd inning. Get ready for that. Be warmed up in the field before I go out there each game. So I think that's really important. Whoever is batting first, and I just don't want to see Gleyber batting first because A, he doesn't know how to take pitches, and B, he usually isn't ready. And again, I don't want to be this guy who Gleyber's slow and lazy, this, that, and the other thing. You know what? He's not the most prepared. Out of everybody on the team, he's not the most prepared. So I don't want to see him bat first. I'd rather see him batting cleanup, projected to hit 25 home runs, more on Fangraphs, projected to hit more home runs than Giancarlo and Anthony Rizzo. So I don't want to see those guys there, and they're slow and they're old. And that's okay when they're batting 6th and 7th. But when they're anchoring the team, it's a little bit harder to swallow. And that's my thoughts on the construction. Go ahead if anybody wants to talk. That was just my thoughts.
That question, what happened when Trent Grisham gets more playing time? Where would he fit in? And do you see when Trent Grisham plays, do you see Judge getting some time at DH?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, listen, the reason why Cashman went out, he said we needed an outfield lefty. He only got 3. He got Soto, he got Verdugo, and he got Grisham. So when Verdugo's out, because that's probably going to be the first real out there. When Verdugo's out, he can slide into that position. Again, I just want these guys to be kind of interchangeable. So these guys have their routines. We were talking about jerseys having their, the comfort level or whatever. I think having a comfort level of every single day, hey, I'm going to be the best 6 hitter for this team every single day this year. and I'm going to
Yep.
try to fight there. And I think that if they do that, they're setting themselves up for success instead of failure, because if Giancarlo Stanton's batting under the Mendoza line, it's a lot easier to move. If he's batting below the Mendoza line, you keep him at 6 or 7. But if he's doing great, you can always move him up. I think that that's a better way to do it, personally speaking. But as far as Grisham, listen, Grisham isn't a great hitter. He's an excellent fielder. We're going to see him in late innings. Hopefully, Juan Soto never comes off the field because he played 162 last year. But when Grisham plays center field, that usually probably going to mean that, Verdugo's getting the day off. And yeah, Grisham could bat 7th or 8th or 9th. But I wouldn't move him up anywhere near the 1 through 6.
So I like what you said there. I'm a little proud of myself. So you said Glaber was on Fangraphs was projected 25 home runs.
Correct.
I did not look at Fangraph at all, and I have him marked down for 24 home runs this year.
I have him for 25.
Yeah, I
Look
mean,
at
listen,
that.
we know ball. We've been talking about this stuff every single day. Not surprised that you either knew that or you didn't know it, and you just felt it. But yeah, I mean, the projections are the projections. That's why I hate when people are like, "No, we need to bat Giancarlo Stanton 4th." But I mean, if you look at Fangraphs, and I know they're just projections, but if he's projected more home runs and a better batting average and a better on base percentage, shouldn't he be batting before Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo? That's just my thoughts on it. And of course, it's going to come out and he's going to be batting 6th, and I'm going to be pissed off. But, as long as there's a consistent lineup for at least his first 20 games, I'm going to have to just be calm.
And good point on that, because I think like we all had a problem with the lineup construction, how it was changed so much. And I think it got really loud after the Harrison Bader situation. Like he didn't know he was batting leadoff until the game started pretty much. And he's like, holy yeah, so I think that changed it, and I do agree. I mean, keep the lineup the same. And if there's guys hot, like like you just said, if you move a Verdugo from 7 to 6 for a couple weeks, hey, I'm fine with it. That's perfectly fine. If you switch a Wells or Trevino and a Volpe 8 and 9th, cool. That it's the 1 through 5. I agree. It's the one. If what you stand now, barring injury, and you're going to give older LeMahieu some days off, but 1 through 5, LeMahieu, Soto, Judge, Glaber, Rizzo should pretty much stay the same.
Absolutely. Cam, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to start a dialogue here regarding this Trent Grisham situation. We need to start getting into our heads that we need to put Judge at first base, and he needs to learn that, because we've got a little guy who apparently can't be traded named Spencer Jones, who apparently is ready to go. And if we can capitalize on re-signing Soto, because he's going to test out free agency, but if we can still get him, and Spencer Jones comes in, he can play the outfield. He's a younger version of Judge. Judge won't have to use his legs as much in the field, so he won't get injured as much, because most of his injuries are lower body injuries. You don't get as much of that playing first base, coming from experience. And if we can get him started, it doesn't have to be 30, 40 games. He can play 5-10 games at first base just to give it a feel, even if it's just in spring training now. Just get him a feel for it, because eventually he's probably going to have to play first base. I mean, if you look at Bryce Harper, I would say he's probably an all-star first baseman if you give him 130 games at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible idea. No, it's not terrible. He would be able to adjust very easily to first base, I think. I think for the next 3 years, you want that guy. I mean, he has the best arm in baseball in the outfield. And, maybe Soto picks up a glove. I do understand what you're saying. 2026, 2027 comes around. Yeah, we're probably going to want him at first base. But for the next 3 years, you need to get the most out of that arm, because, I mean, that guy stops a lot of things. But I do like the thought process. Let's start the dialect. Judge 2026 first base.
I'm just saying, instead of
here.
taking him and putting him at DH and taking a guy who we could use at DH, keep him in and then put him at first base and take Rizzo out if Rizzo's hurt or something.
Yeah, and let's all be realistic. Soto is excuse me. Giancarlo is going to play 80 games this year. So Aaron Judge wants to. He's going to play 80 games tops. How many games did Giancarlo Stanton play last year?
That's not the point. Here's the thing.
I don't know.
I'm locked in on Stan this year. I think this will be his year. He spent this offseason. You could check the pictures. He looks built. He looks more lean. That's the thing. I feel like he has this 8-pack. You see the veins are running through. He looks great. And I think his low, the lowest we'll see his average potentially be 240. And I think his peak could be around 270, 280 if we're feeling good. Lowest home runs I could see 25. That's if he plays 80
Lowest.
games. I think he will get 35 home runs this year, and he's going to cut down on his strikeouts. 157 in 2021, 130 in 2022, 124 in 2023, 110 in 2024. So that's going to be our number 6 guy, and it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton.
Can I jump in here on
Go
that?
ahead.
Please.
Because I have 2 very hot takes in this lineup construction that, we talked about we're going to do. And I kind of wrote some numbers down, just to play around with the lineup, some expectations. I have Stanton batting 241 with 33 home runs.
That was great.
It's pretty much what he just said. He said 240, 241, I believe he said, with about the minimum out 25. And I have another hot take here. And then you guys can touch on it because we just brought him up. I don't know what the record is, and this might not be close to the record, but I wrote it down. I have Trent Grisham for 9 pinch hit home runs.
That's crazy.
I think he comes in because, like Jimmy said, he's going to be that late inning guy where he comes in for defensive purposes. He may get 2 at bats. Depending. Maybe 3 with some extra innings. Yeah, I think the guy rakes with 9 pinch hit home runs this year and hits a total of 16.
Listen, I love the positivity because my projections for Giancarlo Stanton are 217, 23 home runs, and that's and that's realistic. Yeah, and again, we're talking about a guy who had a negative WAR last year. Through 100 games, played 101 games last year, and he had a negative 0.8 WAR. So he was a net negative. And listen, if he was $3 million, I'd be sitting here with a different tune. But he's $32 million this year, and it's tough. It's tough to look at because they're going to have to pay Juan Soto $55 million next year, and they're going to have to pay Gleyber Torres 30. So that's 84 right there. If they want to keep Gleyber. And we're not going to talk about those things, but that was just, listen, the Mets fans out there, if there's any Mets fans listening, the Mets fans out there, they're already thinking about 2025. But us Yankees fans, we're honed in on 2024. So I have to get ahead of it because in 2 weeks, we have Pat Ragazza on, and he does a great job with the Mets. But I know I'm going to have to fight him on this Juan Soto 2025. But here at Yankees Pod, we know that we're going to retain Juan Soto. He's going to hit 37, 38 home runs with a 276 batting average, a 403 on base percentage, slugging close to 800. I really, 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 really think that the fact that they got him, I think it's going to be huge for this offense because I don't want to poke my eyes out in May after we see these lineups.
I had Soto for 318 and 33 home runs.
All right, we must have been doing this together. I had Soto 310, and he's gonna get. This might be a little bit of a stretch, but I have maybe 38 to 40, 45 home runs max. And I think
I dropped the home runs for the batting average.
So did I.
Of them
Fair
hitting
enough, guys.
over
Listen,
35 and a half.
Go ahead, Cam.
I'll
Sorry.
take over.
Oh, I just said I have a 6-player pick thing for prize picks, all of them overs. One of them is Juan Soto over 35 and a half home runs and Aaron Judge over 44 and a half home runs. So.
All right. Okay. Give me the picks. We'll do the 6 picks. I'll throw $100 down for $100 down on I'm not gonna no free ads. if advertisers want to come, but we'll do Cam's 6
Hit up
picks.
Chris K for
Put it
that.
in the We'll put it in a parlay. Go ahead. Tell us what the picks are.
Yeah, I actually put 100 down on it as well. So 35.5 home runs over Juan Soto. Same with Aaron Judge, over 44.5. Garrett Cole over 220.5 strikeouts. Zach Gallen over 195.5 strikeouts.
Who? Zach
Yeah.
Gallen?
Diamondbacks. I could definitely
no,
see him
okay.
getting 220.
I didn't know if it was, I thought it was Yankees only. Keep on going.
Bryce Harper over 97.5 RBIs. And then big boy third baseman in Boston, Devers over 101.5 RBIs.
That might be the
We're
only
not putting
stretch
the
right
Red
there.
Sox thing.
That's a close one.
He's an RBI machine.
No,
he
I
is.
know. I just don't want to be
Yeah.
rooting for Devers.
But that's
So
free
just put
money,
90
though.
Put
That's
90
free
bucks
money.
on it, not 100.
More money.
Put 90 bucks, not 100. Because Verdugo, because Devers is on it. Just take $10 off.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll
scratch
put it
that
on.
Devers part.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, Cam, you did a great job with all the.
I like it. I like it.
I mean, listen, we almost won like $2,700 at the end of the year with all your picks for football. So we're gonna ride the high band. I don't want to take up too much of anybody's time. I feel like we did a pretty good job here. CK though, give me a couple minutes. Any final thoughts you had? Anything you prepared for the episode, or anything you want to say about to Yankee fans, or in general? Go ahead.
Yeah, 2023 is on the pass. We have a whole new team. We got freaking Juan Soto. That's something to cheer about. Offense is gonna be a lot better. Yeah, and so Matt Blake, Blake's gonna get the pitching right. We got a new hitting coach, James Rosen. See what he does, and it's all the best in 2024. Let's go Yanks.
Heck yeah.
Consider this the hot take. I said my Soto and I said my Stan projections. I just want to get a Judge one out. 290, 50 home runs. This is a bounce back. Consider it a bounce back year from last year, because we've seen what he can do. So now let's see what he could do again.
I have a question before we go. Which prospect do you think gonna make it in 2024 season? Like a Will Warren?
We'll ignore Dominguez. I'll go with, could be Clayton Beater, but I think the most realistic one probably going to be Chase Hampton.
I think Chase Hampton too.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give Peraza another chance this year. I think I had a lot of negative juju towards Peraza last year because I was such a Volpe guy, but listen, we all have to roll the same way. Peraza is going to be the backup third baseman, the backup second baseman, the backup shortstop. So, I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, Peraza is going to be my guy there. Cam, go ahead.
I'm a big Beater guy. But honestly, I just hope Juan Soto has a hell of a season. We'll be hitting a lot of picks this year for MLB, so keep an eye out on both the Yankees Pod socials for those picks. We'll do single game picks for those games, I'm thinking. Like hits and over-unders, that kind of stuff. And just keep an eye out on all socials for that stuff.
Yeah, and listen, I do want to get Chris N doesn't have to tweet anything, but I want all three of you. Chris K, you've been doing a great job with your tweets. Continue to go up. Chris N is our Yankees Pod guy at noon every single day. But I want Cam and Lucas, your homework is to figure out one thing you want to tweet from the Twitter a day. Just come up with your own thing. Just very easy. It can take 2 minutes, but so that we get more content on the Twitter page. So that's your guys' homework. Other than that, final thoughts, questions, concerns. Again, Yankees Pod, noon, Monday through Fridays. We're going to be doing baseball companions. We're going to be doing 6 o'clock previews too. Don't worry. We're just not going to tell the people exactly what we're doing because we're Swiss Army Knights. We go
ideas in the air.
What's up?
Yeah.
There are ideas in the air. That's what they are.
We got new guests too for the show too. New guests, hopefully.
Yeah, we have a new guest. Yeah. We have a new guest coming next week. I'm trying to work on Rico Bosco right now. He was DMing me back. He has 173,000 followers on Twitter, so maybe we could get some
Cool.
Barstool fans on following the pod too. And then in 2 weeks, we have Pat Ragazzo, who's currently at spring training with the Mets. So listen, we're doing Jimmy Randazzo at least once a week. It will come out at least once a week. And then we're going to do the lives where these guys come on, and we're going to do our StreamYards, and Lukash is going to get really creative over there. So we're going to do really good stuff. So anything that you guys have, we did have some questions. Let me run this down. I forgot about this.
Peraza is gonna hit 262 between third, shortstop, and second. Limited time.
That's
How many games do you think?
And that's my thing. I couldn't write it down. I couldn't think of it. I really could not get how many games. I had him at 262, but I did write minimal at bats. I don't know how much.
You think they
60
keep? You
games?
think they keep him though?
Yes. I was with Jimmy on that one. I think they keep him. Maybe they get a beater up later on in the year just in case somebody goes down or something. I think that's my favorite pitcher to come up, but I have some faith in Peraza this year.
I like Bieber because that reunites him with Matt Blake. So
Yeah.
All right, you know what? We'll do the questions next time. We'll get to the questions. This is a nice hour long. Guys, enjoy your Friday nights.
Yes,
To the
sir.
fans, this will be out Monday morning. Listen, just comment, subscribe, do your thing. We'll see you guys on Monday, Yankees Pod at noon, as always. And enjoy your day, and we'll see you later. Peace.